From India to Infinity, अथ इंद्रप्रस्थ रिविजिटेड इत्येतादृशानां पुस्तकानां लेखकः पाश्चात्य विशारदः अथ भारतविद् अपि कोम कार्पेंटियर डे गॉर्डन महोदय कोम कार्पेंटियर वर्य भवतां वार्तावल्यां स्वागतमस्ति। देवाः असुराः यक्षाः राक्षसाः गन्धर्वाः एवं विधाः शब्दाः नाम भारतीय पुराणादिषु प्रसृताः सन्ति। तर्हि नाम अत्र सर्वं सत्यं नास्ति सर्वं सत्यमस्ति इत्यत्र एव विवदमानाः भवन्ति सर्वे, नाम पाश्चात्याः वा भवेयुः भारतीयाः वा भवेयुः, परन्तु वस्तुतः ईदृशाः शब्दाः साङ्केतिकाः सिम्बालिक् इति यत् वदामः आङ्ग्लभाषायां। तर्हि एतस्मिन् विषये भवतां किम् अभिमतं यत् एतस्य कः अर्थः भवितुं शक्नोति आधुनिके यदि परिदृश्ये व्याख्या भवितुं शक्यते यदि तर्हि?
Western civilization in the last 300-400 years is probably the only one which has increasingly denied or ignored the existence of all these superior beings, trying to make man the supreme intelligent being in the universe and denying that there was any other creature above him, whether people were religious and believed that there is only one God, and beneath God there is only man, and then all the other creation which is below or beneath man, or whether they are atheistic and believe that there is nothing above man and that man is the supreme creation of life. Now, this is found to be increasingly untenable because all the observations that have been accumulating, especially in the last 100 years, and more so today, show that there are far higher creatures who in some way descend around us and sometimes into us. And this is one of the explanations for the concept of avatar, because we realize that biological life is a manifestation or an expression of a higher life. In other words, the life in the physical body, Annamaya Kosha, is derived from the higher koshas. And therefore, this is becoming a scientifically recognized fact. And I could quote, I could mention many scientific references to that effect, but of course, I will not have time to do so in this brief interview.
Okay. विमानशास्त्राणां तत्र बहु प्रसिद्धिः अस्ति। विमानानां भारतीय संस्कृत्यां नाम पुरातनकालतः एवं बहूनि उल्लेखादीनि प्राप्यन्ते रामायणादिषु पुराणादिषु, परन्तु आधुनिके वैज्ञानिके युगे तेषां किम् औचित्यं तद्द्वारा किम् अत्र निष्कासयितुं शक्यते इति भवादृशः कश्चन पाश्चात्यः एव वक्तुं विशेषतः अर्हः यत् एतस्य साम्प्रतं किम् औचित्यं किं नाम प्रासङ्गिकत्वं?
Vimanadasana astine devyani rupani, which means that even then, not so long ago, 3rd century BCE, they knew and they observed creatures coming down on Earth in their flying vehicles. And as you know, and as we should all know, in these days now, the US Congress and Senate together are holding again hearings of astronauts, pilots, and military officers with regard to their constant interaction with what they call extraterrestrial crafts. Now, these craft have many of the particularities of the capabilities that are enumerated in some of the scriptures, such as, for example, the Vayamanika Prakarana, but also there is a whole Tantra, there is the whole literature which is dedicated to the Vimanas, in the many forms of Vimanas, just like we have many forms of spacecraft that sometimes have several hundred meters in length. I'm talking about modern observations controlled by the Pentagon, by the military of the various countries in the world. And therefore, we see that this is not just a legend, it is not just a story born of imagination, but it is the recognition of a very real aspect of life that we are becoming more and more aware of, and that will become again very active in our in the future of our civilization, just as it was in the time of the Vedas and the Itihasas and Kavyas, as we can read.
जी शोभनम तत्र मिथ मिथोज अथा नाम मिथाज अथवा मठाज इति अरबी भाषायां यथा भवति तर्हि एतादृशानां शब्दानां सान्निध्यं यत् अस्ति वस्तुतः तत् एकं तथ्यं निरूपयति यत् समेषाम् एकत्वम् अस्ति इति भवान् तत्र संस्कृतविज्ञः तर्हि एतादृशान् शब्दान् कथमिव समीक्षते
Mithya has become in Greek mythos. And in Greek, mythos means a word or a saying or a story. So even Plato, who was, as almost you might say, a modernist thinker in his day, said that there is more truth in mythos, in myth, than there is in factual accounts of things. Why? Because the mythos, the mithya, refers to, of course, appearances, but it tells them in a way that hints at the deeper hidden reality behind them. So in a way, the mithya can lead us to the satyam, because through stories, through, again, kathas, through itihasas, it tells us the real essence of existence and of reality. And matal in Arabic, which originally means an image, like, it's a comparison. It is also a way of saying through something which is not what you want to know, I am showing you what you want to know. In a sense, it means that you are using an image or an analogy to point to the truth. And since the truth is not really to be spoken about because it is indicible, it cannot be spoken, you have to use words which in a way are another kind of mithya.
भवान् भारतविदपि भवदीयं पुस्तकम् एकमस्ति इन्द्रप्रस्थ रिविजिटेड् तर्हि वयम् अत्र नवदिल्ल्यां स्मः तर्हि दिल्ल्याः इतिहासविषये वस्तुतः इन्द्रप्रस्थ इत्यस्य इतिहासविषये भवान् किमपि नवीनं तथ्यम् अत्र प्रकाशयितुं शक्नोति
Indraprastha in particular is essentially the land of Pandavas, and more particularly the land of Indra, and also of Arjuna, his son, because there were 4 other prasthas. And prastha is a name that you find in many languages all over the world. It is pratum in Latin, Latina Pasha, which also means the same thing. It means a land or a field which is under the control of the king. And we know that Indraprastha, in the times of Mahabharata, extended all the way from what is now Puranakila and south of Puranakila, all the way to the Nigambod Ghat on Yamuna. So it was a very large piece of land. It was the domain of Arjuna, and this has been its vocation since that time. So the very notion of Indraprastha as a sort of an archetype of the city, where we know that Maya, the architect, buried some very hallowed relics, in fact, taken from the Himalayas, from Mount Meru, and in particular, a Vajra made with the bones of Dadhich Rishi. So this is still buried under Delhi, and this is the key to the power that lies in Indraprastha.
सम्यक् महोदय भवत् प्रतिपादितैः वचनैः नाम न केवलं भारतीयाः अपि तु पाश्चात्याः येऽपि सन्ति तेऽपि नाम प्रेरिताः भवेयुः भारतम् अधिकं ज्ञातुम् अथ विशेषतः ईदृशी प्रवृत्तिः अपेक्षिता भवति यत् पाश्चात्याः अथवा भारतीयाः येऽपि सन्ति ते परस्परं सम्मिल्य विशेषतः शोधादिकं कुर्युः इति भवतां वचनानि एव वस्तुतः प्रेरकाणि नमो नमः
प्रणाम। नमस्कार।